What if I told you that the only person who's been holding you back is you, not your boss, not your parents, not your friends, not even the economy. It's you, your own beliefs, your own fears, the invisible walls you've built around your potential. Most people spend their lives playing small. They set safe goals, achievable goals, modest goals, goals that don't scare them, goals that don't stretch them, goals that don't ignite fire in their chest. And as a result, they live safe, modest lives, comfortable, but unremarkable. But deep down, you know you weren't put on this earth just to get by. You weren't meant to crawl when you were born to walk. You weren't meant to walk when you were born to run. Every single one of us has experienced what I call a quantum leap. Think back when you were a child crawling on the floor. No matter how fast you crawled, you could never crawl your way into walking. Walking required a whole new move, a new leap. You stood up, you fell, you cried, you got hurt, and you tried again. And that is the essence of growth. Failure was not a sign you couldn't walk. Failure was the very process that taught you how to walk. So let me tell you something that might shift your entire perspective. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the process of success. Yet somewhere along the way, maybe in school, maybe at work, maybe from the judgments of others, we started treating failure as something shameful, something humiliating. We became afraid of being laughed at, afraid of looking foolish, afraid of being wrong. And so instead of aiming for greatness, we settle for good enough. But here's the raw truth. Avoiding failure is the biggest failure of all. Playing safe is the slowest form of suicide. Think about this. Research shows that simply writing down your goals makes you 43% more likely to achieve them. 43%. That's not a motivational slogan, that's data. And yet most people keep their dreams locked inside their heads, vague and shapeless, where they remain forever as wishes. When you write down your goals, when you dare to give them a name, you transform them from a fragile thought into a living commitment. You move them from the realm of imagination into the realm of reality. That simple act is the first step of a quantum leap. But here's where most people go wrong. They ask, what will the world allow me to do? And that question builds invisible fences around their dreams. It's like drawing boundaries on a limitless sky. You don't need to ask permission from the world. The better question is, what do I want? What am I willing to commit to making happen? Because here's the secret. A true quantum leap is not about stretching a little. It's not about doing just a bit more of what you're already doing. It's about stepping into the unknown. It's about daring to pursue something so bold, so audacious, that when you first say it out loud, it terrifies you. If your goal doesn't scare you, it's too small. I've met countless people who say, I'm ready for a breakthrough. I'm ready to change my life, and then they set a goal that's just 10% bigger than what they've already done. That's not a breakthrough, that's a warm-up. A real leap means standing on the edge of uncertainty, heart pounding, knees shaking, and jumping anyway. Think about every major transformation in your life. Crawling to walking, walking to running, learning to ride a bike, learning to drive. None of those came from perfecting the old skill. Each required a whole new set of moves. And every single time you failed over and over before you mastered it. But you didn't quit, and that's why you succeeded. Now let's get brutally honest. Why do so many adults stop themselves from attempting their next leap? Why do they shrink back into the safety of what they know? It comes down to one thing: fear. The fear of failure. The fear of embarrassment. The fear of loss. But those very fears are not walls to stop you. They're signposts that you're moving in the right direction. William James, the father of American psychology, once said, Begin immediately. Do it flamboyantly. No exceptions. That is the spirit of transformation. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. The only moment you have is now. The only approval you need is your own. Burn the bridges behind you. Eliminate the escape routes. Step forward knowing there is no way back. That's what full commitment feels like. That's how revolutions begin. Inside you. So ask yourself this. What's the one goal that makes your heart race? The one dream that feels so bold, so alive, that just thinking about it gives you goosebumps? That's your aiming point. That's the fire you need to ignite. Because here's the undeniable truth. You don't get what you should have. You don't get what the world allows you to have. You get what you decide you cannot live without. And once you decide, truly decide, something extraordinary happens. The universe shifts. Doors open. People appear. Resources line up. Not because of magic, but because you've stopped sending mixed signals. You've stopped living half in, half out. You've gone all in. So here's the challenge I place in front of you. Stop thinking small. Stop waiting for permission. Stop playing safe. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Claim it as yours. Because the truth is simple. Failure is not losing. Failure is the proof that you're alive, you're growing, you're in the game. If you're not failing, you're not even trying. And you weren't born to crawl, you were born to leap. Most battles in life are not fought on the battlefield. They're not fought in boardrooms or classrooms. They're not even fought against other people. The greatest battles you will ever face are fought right here, inside your own mind. Think about it. Every decision you've ever made, every risk you've ever taken or avoided, started as a thought. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. And here's the shocking truth. Research shows that about 70% of the average person's daily thoughts are negative. Doubts, fears, criticism, worry. That constant stream of negativity poisons your mood, drains your energy, and shapes your future. Negativity is not just an inconvenience, it's destructive. Studies reveal that chronic negative thinking spikes cortisol, damages your nervous system, weakens your immune response, and even shortens your lifespan. One of the most famous long-term psychology studies followed a group of nuns for over 50 years. The researchers discovered something extraordinary. The nuns who wrote optimistic entries in their journals lived on average 7 years longer than those who were pessimistic 7 years. That's longer than the impact of smoking. Imagine that. Your mindset literally has the power to add or subtract years from your life. And yet we are never taught this in school. We learn math, science, and history. But no one gives us a class on emotional discipline. No one shows us how to manage our thoughts, how to transform our inner dialogue. Most of us are left to figure it out on our own. And for too many, that means living as a prisoner of negativity. But here's the shift. Your mind can be trained. Just like your body can grow stronger at the gym, your mindset can be rewired for resilience, power, and clarity. Tony Robbins once said, "It's not the events of your life that shape you. It's the meaning you give them." That's the battle within. Life throws the same storms at everyone. Loss, failure, rejection, hardship. The difference is in how you interpret them. One person sees failure as the end. Another sees it as the beginning of growth. Same event. Different story, different outcome. This is what I call inner strength. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about developing the resilience to face the storm and stand tall anyway. Psychologists call it emotional intelligence. The ability to recognize your emotions, control your reactions, and make wise decisions under pressure. As people with high emotional intelligence don't crumble under stress. They bend, they adapt, and they come back stronger. Let me give you an example. Picture two people who both lose their jobs. The first one says, "This is proof I'm a failure. Life is unfair. I'll never get ahead." They spiral into despair. The second one says, "This is painful, yes, but maybe it's the push I needed. Maybe it's time to reinvent myself, to chase something I truly care about." Same event. Two completely different futures. That's the power of the battle within. But here's something deeper. Life isn't about avoiding friction. Friction is what makes you grow. Think about lifting weights. If the bar feels light and effortless, you don't grow stronger. It's only when you push against resistance, when your muscles burn, that growth happens. The same is true in life. Comfort feels safe, but too much comfort breeds stagnation. Bob Dylan once said, "He not busy being born is busy dying." And he was right. If you're not actively challenging yourself, stretching yourself, facing resistance, you're not really living. That's why I love the concept of being anti-fragile. Fragile things break under stress. Resilient things survive stress. But anti-fragile things actually get stronger because of stress. Imagine a crystal glass. You'd protect it with bubble wrap because a single bump could shatter it. Now imagine a basketball. You can slam it against the floor, throw it at the wall, kick it around, and it bounces right back. That's resilience. But anti-fragility goes beyond that. It thrives on the chaos. It grows because of the impact. That's what your mind can become. Not just resistant to life's blows, but fueled by them. Every setback becomes a source of power. Every criticism becomes motivation. Every loss becomes wisdom. But to get there, you must first break free from the prison of negativity. Because the truth is this: reducing negative thinking is even more powerful than just increasing positive thinking. Positivity is fuel, yes, but negativity is poison. It contaminates every thought, every choice, every opportunity. Remove the poison and your natural strength can rise. So how do you fight this battle within? It begins with awareness. Start noticing your thoughts. Track them. When you catch yourself saying, "I can't," change it to, "How can I?" When you hear yourself thinking, "This always happens to me," shift it to, "What can I learn from this?" The questions you ask yourself shape the quality of your life. Another key: build inner rituals. Every day, train your mind the way an athlete trains their body. Take 5 minutes in silence to breathe, reflect, and visualize your goals. Write them down. Read them aloud. Condition your subconscious to see possibility, not limitation. And remember this: true inner power doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from finding meaning in it. People with deep inner strength don't run from challenges. They face them. They learn. They adapt. They rise. So let me ask you, what story are you telling yourself right now? Are you telling yourself you're too old, too young, not smart enough, not lucky enough? That story is shaping your life. And the moment you change the story, you change your future. Because the greatest enemy you'll ever face is not out there. It's not the critic, not the doubter, not the competitor. The greatest enemy is the voice inside your head whispering, "You can't." And the greatest victory is silencing that voice. Not with blind optimism, but with courage, resilience, and the relentless belief that you are more powerful than you know. So fight the battle within. Train your mind. Build your inner strength. And remember this: life storms don't come to destroy you. They come to awaken you. So here we are. You face the truth that the only person holding you back is yourself. You've discovered that the greatest battle is not out there, but inside your mind. Now comes the most important question of all. Where do you go from here? Because inspiration without action is just entertainment. Motivation without movement is just noise. To truly change your life, you need a path, a framework, a way forward that keeps you from slipping back into old habits. And that path begins with one word: permission. Most people never chase their biggest dreams, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they never give themselves permission. They think, I'd love to pursue this, but it feels selfish. It's too risky. What if I fail? And so they bury their desire under obligations and excuses. But listen carefully, no one can give you permission to live your dream except you. Not your parents, not your boss, not society, only you. And until you grant yourself that permission, you'll always hold back. Think of Scott Adams, the creator of the Dilbert comic strip. He admitted he wasn't a great artist. His drawings were crude. But he wanted to be a famous cartoonist. So what did he do? Every day, 15 times a day, he wrote the sentence, I, Scott Adams, will become a famous cartoonist. He wasn't betting on talent. He was betting on clarity, belief, and relentless persistence. And eventually, the world caught up with his vision. The lesson, passion alone isn't enough. You need clarity. You need belief. You need the discipline to show up day after day, even when no one's watching. This brings us to the U-squared method, a simple, powerful framework for making what Dr. Price Pritchett calls a quantum leap one. Set a massive, heart-driven aiming point. Not a modest goal, not an incremental goal. A bold vision that excites you and scares you at the same time. Something so alive it keeps you awake at night. 2. Pursue it relentlessly. Like a baby learning to walk, fall 100 times if you must, but never quit. Failure isn't a wall, it's a stepping stone. 3. Do the necessary mind work. Train your brain. Block out negativity. Build daily rituals that reinforce your belief. Condition your mind as fiercely as an athlete conditions their body. 4. Track your progress. Keep score. Write it down. Face the truth. Because if you're not tracking, you're not improving. You're just daydreaming. This is the roadmap. Simple, not easy. Clear, but demanding. And yet it works. But let's talk about something most people overlook. Luck. When you study extraordinary success stories, you'll see it over and over. Luck played a role. Right place, right time, right person, right opportunity. But here's the twist. Luck is not random. You can multiply luck. You can invite it. How? First, by telling luck what you want. Write your goals. Speak them out loud. The world cannot deliver what you never declare. Second, by being an optimist. Optimists see opportunities that pessimists miss. Optimists act where others hesitate. And luck favors the bold. Third, by staying in circulation. Don't isolate yourself. Most lucky breaks come through weak ties, acquaintances, strangers, chance encounters. You can't meet luck if you never leave your bubble. Fourth, by listening to your intuition. Quiet the noise of the world and your subconscious will guide you to opportunities. And fifth, by creating luck for others. Introduce people. Encourage people. Help others succeed. Because life is reciprocal. What you give comes back. Now let's anchor this with the timeless wisdom of Tony Robbins. Decisions shape destiny. Beliefs can imprison you or set you free. Emotions are not dictated by events, but by the meaning you assign them. Tiny habits create massive long-term change. And true success comes when you live for a mission larger than yourself. All of this points to one simple truth. Greatness is not about perfection. It's about daring. At the end of your life, you won't measure success by the money you made, the titles you held, or the trophies on your shelf, you'll measure it by one question: did I take my shot? Greatness is being able to look back and say, I didn't play it too safe. I risked, I dared, I lived fully, and that's the challenge I leave with you today. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop playing small. You have more power inside you than you've ever imagined. More resilience, more potential, more courage, and the only way to unlock it is to leap. So give yourself permission. Choose your goal, write it down, burn the bridges behind you, go all in, because no one gets out of life alive. So you might as well live it awake, alive, and unstoppable.